Hi, how you doing? Good morning. Okay, this video is about sex magic. It is about sex, kind of in general. But as a transgender person, as a third gender, so we know in science that gender is a spectrum, and we know that there's transgender animals, and that just like on every level, there's the gender's a spectrum. We know for linguistic purposes that there's a difference between gender and sexuality. And it's important. I'm not going to go over the difference between gender and sexuality. By now, you guys should have researched that for yourself. But it's more of a linguistic thing, you know. In linguistics, you can't just put random things to random words, because words are things that mean things, you know. So that we know what people mean when they say things, sometimes words have to mean what they mean. You know, so because there's two words, gender and sexuality, there has to be some kind of difference in the meaning. But it can be confusing, I think, for everybody, even people that pretend it's not. So sex magic. So I know there's lots of videos out there about sex magic, and I'm certainly no expert or anything like that. But there's nothing out there that really clarifies as far as the middle gender. So there's the three genders there's a cis woman. Cis, letter C-I-S, means the same or something like that. So cis woman is someone that was born a girl and they live their life a girl and they're happy as a girl forever. Okay, then on the other side, there's cis man, S-I-S, man, who that's someone born a boy that's still a boy, and in between there's a transgender person. The middle gender, the third gender, the middle gender includes a trans woman and a trans man, both. So you're a middle gender, a third gender that identifies as a female, therefore, and lives your life as a female, therefore you're a trans woman, or you're a middle gender that identifies as a man and lives your life as a man, and you're a trans man. So trans is short for transition. So if you're a trans woman, that means that you weren't like that before because you had to transition from one place to another, see? So cis woman, trans gender, which is trans man or trans woman, and then cis man. Now, people get technical and say there's actually X amount of genders and blah 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 and blah blah blah. I think that's a mistake. People have a big enough problem with just three genders, and one of the meanings of the number 3 is just and everything else. You know, there's like this and that, and then number 3 means and all the other stuff. You know, so there's people that sometimes they're a man, sometimes they're a woman. I don't even really understand that stuff. I'm just always a woman, so I'm a trans woman. Okay. So that's what we all know. You guys already knew this. We all know this by now. Okay, so if you look up as far as sex, if you research the sexuality of the third gender, according to the books, less than half of us, well, let's not do trans men. I don't really know a lot about trans men, to be honest, which is of course someone born a girl that transitioned to a man. So right now I'm going to talk about exclusively trans women, not the kind that go back and forth or anything, just someone like me, okay? Trans woman. If you look up trans woman and research it according to the books, less than half of us like men. So as far as our sexuality of this gender, those of us of this gender, our sexuality, less than half of us like men and less than half of us like women, and then the rest of it is bisexual or demisexual. I have my doubts about that. I have a feeling there's a lot more demisexual trans women than that, but let's just kind of round it off that there's variations, but roughly there's like a 50-50 chance. If someone's a trans woman, you don't know if they like men or women. It's just about as likely that it's one way or the other. In my case, I like men. So people would say, so then you're gay. You're a homosexual man that thinks you're a woman, you know? It's like, well, you know, I can appreciate, you know, as a beginner that hasn't applied any empathy or research, that would seem that way, but it's not really the way it is. I see myself as a heterosexual woman, meaning I'm a woman, I identify as a woman, especially sexually, that likes men. Now hormones, of course, you know, I'm on female hormones. Hormones, one of the main, you know, pretty much what hormones do is they make those differences between men and women, you know. So it's and those differences are especially relevant in sex, you know, like a female skin, you know, scientifically, the female skin, which you have when you're on, you know, I have female skin because I have female hormones, is softer, you know. So when a man touches a woman, it's softer and that turns them on. See how that works? Like the differences, in other words, are relevant to the sexual arousal and the sexual experience. There's a connection between the gender differences that are caused by hormones. They, you know, like I said, like gender and sexuality, they're two different things linguistically, but they can be intertwined, especially when it comes to the actual act of sex. So the reason I'm a heterosexual woman is because what the man's going to experience, they're going to be, you know, like I have female pheromones and boobs and girl skin and girl hair and the way you think and feel is affected by your hormones, your desires, your drives, all the things that are the most relevant in a moment like sexual activity are female, you know. And not to mention, I need to be treated that way. If I'm with a guy that treats me like another gay guy, then I pack my bags and go home. It's not fun for me, you know. I need to feel like a woman, you know. For me to be aroused, sexually aroused and stuff, I need to feel like a woman, you know. So it's, and then from their perspective, if they like a man and I have boobs and girl skin, you know, if they're a homosexual cis man, you know, then they were hoping that I would be a boy, and then I wouldn't be. See, so if I liked women, I would be a lesbian. I would consider myself a lesbian. Now I was bisexual. You know, I was born bisexual. People say your sexuality can't change. We have a lot to learn, you know, because my sexuality has changed. Hormones changed my sexuality. I was asexual when I first came out of the closet, and then hormones changed me into heterosexual. It brought back desire, but only for men, and my desire for women didn't exist, you know, because I was asexual. People say asexual, you can't change, you can't, you know, there's, right now everybody needs to believe that sexuality is a concrete thing, it doesn't evolve or change. No, it's not true. Women don't turn me on. Sometimes I start to think I'm turned on, but then I realize, you know, my thoughts and desires make it obvious that's not really what it is. You know, a person knows, you know. People that claim they know are calling themselves fools by making such a claim, because it's only a fool looks for logic in the chambers of the human heart. So now so these things are all things you can find on research and stuff. So as far as the sexual morality beliefs I have as a Yan Sui, so I'm going to make an example of me beyond this point, okay? Because then I can get real specific, you know? So as far as religiously, I'll leave a link because I already did a video on what the Yan Sui faith, which is my religion, what we believe about sexual morality. You know, the Bible is completely misrepresented as usual. The Bible is very pro-sexuality, and most Christians and Jews, their concepts of this of sexuality don't even really match what the Bible says. The Bible, it just says to be safe and use safe sex, or it says not to use safe sex. It's like, that's because they told you that and you didn't actually read it yourself. So I'll leave a video on that. This right now, I want to talk about something that's not really out there. So in sex magic, the sex magic is it's when you read about it and study about it, it's about a man and a woman having heterosexual sex, But what if the woman is a trans woman, Because a trans woman might have a penis or a vagina depending on if she had that surgery or not, So for me, I haven't had bottom surgery. Maybe one day I will, but for now, I have a girl penis. So there's a difference between a girl penis and a boy penis. They're not the same thing. Your penis is connected to your desires and your drives. It's made out of skin, so a girl penis is made out of girl skin. The hormones shrivel your testicles up. My testicles spend a lot of the day shriveled up inside of my body. My penis shrunk a little bit, and they don't get completely hard. And the thinking of a girl penis isn't the same as the thinking of a boy penis. You don't get turned on the same way. It's different. Like how a girl likes to be teased. Like they say, it needs to be like touched and kissed and treated right, and that all becomes relevant to how she's turned on. And then a guy just kind of wants you just to dive in, with maybe a little of a similar thing, but mostly you can just boom, throw your hand right on their penis, and go for it. That's not, it's, even though it's a penis, it thinks it's a vagina. A girl penis thinks it's a vagina, and it gets turned on the same way, and it thinks like that, So then, one day if I get bottom surgery, then I'll have a trans woman vagina. I'll have a third gender vagina, which would have differences between a third gender vagina. A trans woman's vagina is different than a cis woman's vagina because you don't have a womb. There are operations where they can put a womb in your body so you can have a baby, but who's rich enough to have bottom surgery and have a womb put in their body so they can have a baby? There's probably not too many trans women like that. So so some of sex magic is about how you have this power to create, and you have a womb, and that energy and power is part of how your sexual magic. So a trans woman, of course, we don't have a womb, and some of us don't even have a vagina. We have a girl penis. So basically, like, the main point I want to say in this video is just that there's a difference between a girl penis and a boy penis. And in sex magic, you would especially want to know about that. That's especially relevant. Because some of the energy of a girl penis is the same as a cis woman in her vagina and her womb. In some cases, they would be exactly the same. The things you would think, feel, want, desire, your drives, some of the things, at some moments it's going to be the same thing, and also that thing that's the same is going to be completely different than a cis man in their penis. So because there's these differences, that those are realities, and it becomes especially relevant if you're trying to do sex magic. So on my playlist, Fun with Witchcraft Magic, I've got some videos on sex magic, and in my playlist with audiobooks, there's some audiobooks for women and helping them understand sexuality. When I listen to dating things, I'll listen to both sides of it, what men are supposed to do when dating, and what women. I kind of just study the whole subject. When I study something, I study everything, every aspect from every perspective. And it teaches me things, but generally it's, like, if the real good advice is the stuff that's for women, because it's not usually very different. It's, what I experience and want and desire is the same. So like for example, that's one of the reasons why girls don't turn me on, you know, because you know, like a that would be just like a situation of competition that would be a turnoff, you know, like that, like who's the most like a woman, you know, and then they're gonna win the competition, and then I'm just gonna be pissed off, and you know, and then because I'm really a girl, you know, things can break the mood, you know, and that would definitely be a buzzkill, break the mood thing, you know. Even if I had a vagina, it's just like it doesn't logically it doesn't make sense, you know. I did like I don't understand, you know, lesbianism, you know, like what's in it for me, and why would I want to do it, you know. You know, it doesn't, it just kind of like when I first start feeling that way and thinking that way, because I used to like girls, it's just I realize it's just the momentum, because really soon I'm just like, oh, it doesn't make sense, and then pretty soon I'm turned off, and it can even most of the time even seems kind of gross, you know. So that's it with sex magic. Just remember there's a difference between gender and sexuality, but sometimes they are intertwined when it comes to sexual activity and hormones, and that there's a difference between a girl penis and a boy penis, um, and just like, you know, what happens, you know, what hormones do to your body and your drive and things like that. Like if a man wants to turn me on, he needs to make me feel like a woman. He needs to treat me like a woman. If he's researched how to turn women on, what to say and what to do, and that's to his advantage. He should do that to me, and it's gonna work. And if he breaks the rules and does it different because he thinks I'm really a man, the joke's on him. It's not gonna work. I'm not a man. It's not gonna work. You know, the truth is the truth.